Good afternoon, folks. Welcome into episode number 34 of Clark After Dark. Here it is episode 35, as my producer tells me in my ear, but I always say it's a beautiful night. Well, you know what? It is a rather humid evening here in the Texarkana area, as we just came off a weekend where we were washed out again at Boot Hill Speedway on Saturday night, on a night where we had 164 cars in the pit area once again. I don't think we've had a night of racing action at the Hill this year without, I'd say, 140 cars. So there's scheduled to be another barn burner, but unfortunately, Mother Nature did not play too kind. My co-host joining me again this week here on Clark After Dark from Alexandria, Louisiana, my man Cortland Smith, as we're going to look to dive into everything that happened on Friday night. I was over at Texarkana 67 Speedway, and of course, Illinois Speed Weeks happened this week, Cortland, and a lot of other great things. High limit racing's gotten a couple of races in, despite being rained out at some places locally, over the last week. We did get some great racing in over at the Mandeville, Arkansas Oval on Friday night. And we did have a brief weather delay getting things kicked off on Friday over there, but Tim was determined, man. Like, we wanted to race, and 95 cars into the pit area, and we had a rain shower, a pretty significant one, about 2 hours before race time, and Tim had to get back out there in the skid steer and try to rework the track the best he possibly could. But nonetheless, the Williams boys stayed hot. Colby Williams got the USRA B-Mod win. Josh Warren got his first career win at 67 in the USRA Tuners. Shane Gibbons went worst to first in the Arkansas Factory Stocks. Lizzie Providence topped the 23-car field of modifieds, Cortland. And Bubba McEachern scored his first career win at 67. And those are your feature winners. And then, interestingly enough, Louisiana drivers have swept the four Sportster feature races there this season for the Simmons Bank 67 Series night. And all the drivers were former regulars at Champion Park in Minden, Louisiana. I find that kind of interesting. I'm not sure how much they play a factor, but I will tell you that both Chad and Bubba and a lot of other people that are from Minden will tell you that CPS reminds them a lot, or 67 reminds them a lot of Champion Park Speedway. They seem to have that joint figured out, man.
That's really cool. I didn't realize that they were all Champion Park regulars back in the day. And give one to the home state of Louisiana, boys. Keep on showing up and showing out at 67, my guys. Keep it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Michael Turner was racing. Like, he may have raced some at Champion before it shut down in 2011, but I know he grew up there, right? And Jarrett Strickland as well. But Chad Callender absolutely won quite a few races at Champion Park Speedway back in the days in cruisers and factory stocks and different divisions. So Chad Callender has a win there. Michael Turner, and again, Jarrett Strickland went on night number one. And then, of course, scoring the win, Bubba McEachern, the other night. What was your takes, man? How about Jason Smotherman? I don't know how I skipped right over his name. He won the USRA Factory Stock feature. Man, I'm telling you, up as a giddy-up racetrack on Friday night. Like I said, we got that rain shower, so the track was tractioned up. And but, hey, the 18 got that deal done by any means necessary. Good win for the 18 to Jason Smotherman. Also, his first career win at 67. A lot of first-timers on Friday night.
Man, that's absolutely awesome that a lot of guys are getting their first time win or first time wins at 67. That's what you race for, man. We don't race to come in and run top 10. We of course want to have fun, but you want to go out there and win. So congrats to all them guys. Tim Crawley, I'm just going to tell you, man, like, people talk bad, and I know, the word is it's always a little bit wetter, a little rough, and like, but what are you supposed to do with a rain shower, an hour and a half, 2 hours for the show? Like, you know what you were getting your hands into. And you can see, I'm not saying nobody's out there publicly dogging on them, but you hear rumblings, you talk to people, I talk to people, like, man, that 67's always muddy and hammered down, and it was rough. I'm like, what do you kind of expect? Like, this isn't asphalt racing, it's dirt track. And especially when you got the modifieds that go in there and the frame rails just KO the surface, getting into any of the corners, you're going to create holes. Like, it's part of it, but
Yeah.
Shout out to Tim Crawley, man. I really feel like he's one that does everything he can to get it in. And he's a racer, man. He knows what everybody wants. And so what? He maybe likes it a little bit wetter than most. But at the end of the day, man, when he does get it dialed in just right, I'm telling you, that place will put on some phenomenal races, because we can see it by the end of the night. It really does get pretty sporty.
Absolutely, man. I agree with that assessment 100%. I love Texarkana 67 Speedway, and I love going there to support it. And I've always loved the racetrack back before it had the walls around it, before the Crawleys got involved with it. But I love the people that are involved with it now, and that, it makes me want to support it that much more, man. And they're trying to do big things for our area. I mean, they're bringing huge races here. I mean, High Limit has never, obviously it's a new series, but it's never been around here before. I mean, you heard Bubba Jones on our recent podcast has talked about potentially having the World of Outlaws or maybe High Limit. Of course, we have a World of Outlaws late model race, but as far as sprint car racing is concerned, I mean, we could have potentially got to see Kyle Larson racing here last Wednesday night. Unfortunately, Mother Nature didn't play too kind, but they are doing great things over there, man. I'm excited. And, I was talking to Jason Ingles as well after the races Friday night, Cortland, and he said, man, he said, he said, I pulled off early because, man, it was a brand new race car. He's like, but, we love coming over here and support the place, and we'll do it as long as we can, So it's been nice being able to see Jason again, right, racing back again on Friday nights. And one thing I was going to mention and failed to kind of put into the few notes I have here is that, we didn't see Justin Whitehead racing there this weekend, man. He was up racing in Iowa at the same track that we're watching live right now, the Flow Racing Night in America race, the late model race. Justin Whitehead raced at Marshalltown this week, and I'm not sure he got the results that he wanted, Cortland, but I tell you what, he came away from there with a lot of experience, and I'm sure he learned a hell of a lot for a driver even as experienced as he is.
That IMCA stock car scene up there is about like our Arklatex factory stock scene down here. It is as competitive as it could possibly be. And every time you go hit the racetrack, you learn something, especially when you go out and travel and go to all these different places, the different dirt surfaces, the way they prep a track, just the way different bankings. And like I said, the dirt, dirt really does change a lot once you get up that way, and the way it holds moisture and the way it slicks off, just everything's different. And that's why you see a lot of guys be successful when they travel a lot, is because they get all that experience and all them little nuggets of information of we tried this, we tried that, and it all goes back to his notebook. And you almost think that 36J knows that factory stock's pretty stout, and he went and tested that IMCA stock car, and who knows, they're both stock cars, they're heavy cars. He maybe picked up a little note or nugget to take with him to the 30,000.
To put a final bow on 67 Speedway, I'd be remiss. I know a lot of people saw the video clip that went around, and I think a lot of people were looking for me to talk about this. And I asked you, man, should I talk about this? And I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be able to talk about it or why I shouldn't, because I did absolutely nothing wrong in the clip. And I know a lot of people had some comments on Facebook yesterday, and I totally agree with them as far as it being a slide job. You and I have talked about this, Colton. I don't want to get down to the nuts and bolts of the move, this and that. I came away with it like, wow, Colton Hinton was super fast the other night. As far as me announcing, man, like I may have made a mistake, right? Like saying a slide. And I'm so weird about that too. I know I've talked to you off mic, like another announcers calling things slide jobs when they're not. But I will say, from my vantage point, the young man was carrying a tune into turn number 3. Like he was fast and he carried a lot of speed. And I think in my mind, and it's pretty fogged up there. I'll say, like, I'll invite anybody to come up to 67 and sit in the booth just so you can see my vantage point up there looking into turn number 4. It's like, and David Burleson, the co-announcer up there, he'll attest to that as well. It gets fogged up there sometimes. So we're having to look through creases in the glass where it's not fogged up sometimes. And that was the case the other night. So at the end of the day, I think I was setting him up like BJ Cook was being slid. And when I said, oh, look out, is when I thought in my head he's going a little too far. And again, I wasn't going to dive too deep off into this. But again, I think that anybody who knows me personally knows that I'll own a mistake, no problem, if I make one, and was certainly not trying to invite anything more there than what it was, right? And I didn't cut the clip and put it out on Facebook, man. But hey, it's something that happened at the racetrack. I don't think we were trying to highlight that young man's misfortune. As I sent Colton Hinton a message after the races Friday. It was like, dude, you were so fast tonight. Like, awesome. You've turned a corner and you turned it quick. But I'm not sure if you had an opinion on all that. Like I told you, I didn't plan on going into it. But I don't think there's anything that needs to be said. I think some people wanted me to talk about it, and so I did. There you have it.
I'm just going to simply say I could go into my backstory and do a little 2-minute monologue about everything I've done in racing. And I know you hear every people say all the time they grew up at the racetrack. And I can proudly say I've literally done everything at a racetrack, from cleaning the bathrooms to flagman. Was I good at any of them? Probably not. I've had lunch with Mark Richards, and I've sold fuel to a guy that couldn't afford to buy the 5 gallons of gas to race that night. So I've been in every perspective. And I've been blessed to be able to announce with you last year at my dad's memorial race. And I will tell you, that was probably the hardest thing you have to do, is announce. And I'm not backing you up or anything, because you are anticipating what to happen. You are calling it as you see it. And like you said, he drove it off in there. And has he drove it off in there the entire race, a car length deeper and stuck? Yes, he had. So whatever it may be is whatever it may be. Just, I will say, there's no announcer out here that's going to sit there and dog on anybody. I promise you, that's not your intent. Like, that's nobody's intent. And I'll just say this much: if you want to go up there and do it, go right on ahead. There's a reason why I'm the pit reporter and not announcing the 30,000, because I can't announce. Like it is hard to do and to be on your toes and anticipate it. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. That's all I got to say to it. If you think you can do better, you're going to attack somebody, or not to say attack. That's a strong
I don't.
word,
Hey,
but
and I don't want you getting in trouble with anybody. I
no,
don't think anybody. No, and I don't think anybody was calling me out by any means. I think a lot of people
no,
that said something don't know me personally, and one of them. Listen, he was defending his boy, and I agree with that 1,000% down to his bone. Like that's what he's supposed to do. And me and that gentleman, I'm not going to mention my name. Me and him know each other personally. We have respect for each other. So there's nothing here ill will that I would say. And I know that's not what you were alluding to by any stretch, but
no,
I but more or less what you're saying is like it's not as easy as, and I'm not going to go that far either. Like I love my job, I love what I do, right? I absolutely love it. But again, we are calling things, and everything is hindsight's always 2020. I'm not ever going to say that I'm perfect. I do not ever think that I'm the best announcer in the business, and I'm going to make mistakes, right? And it's unfortunate that my mistake was highlighted along with
yeah,
that crash that was made. And I think that was, but again, this isn't about me. I want to make this about that young man. Like I said, I sent Colton Hinton a message. Listen, he put himself in position to get himself a victory. Like he got up to the front by any means necessary and passed Neil Kemp, one of the best. He's a two-time King of the Hill winner. Passed Neil Kemp right around the bottom. Man, he was stuck like Chuck. And I know a lot of people were saying this, that, and the third, but I will tell you that all that stuff is just this and that. It doesn't really matter. The young man was on the wheel and he drove to the race lead, and the only thing between him and pay dirt appeared to be a broken transmission. So it was a show that he put on the other night in the 4 car for sure.
100%. That's all there is to
Absolutely.
it. The kid was fast as all get out. I mean, he really was.
Yeah.
He was fast as all get out. Props to him. He drove by one of the best in the business.
Absolutely. Let's move on, man, to this Illinois Speed Weeks, which is currently about to well, it's already taken the green. And man, golly, it kind of hurts because I want to be able to watch it because America's bucket list track, Marshalltown Speedway, is under the green. I think the 4 laps in, currently under the Midwest sheet metal caution flag. Look at me giving Chris Davis some plugs here on Clark After Dark. Illinois Speed Weeks was a banger though last week. Perfect weather, great racetracks, great racing. The top 19 of the top 25 in Dirt Lake Model hierarchy were all in attendance in the pit area. Like, what an absolute week, right? Like we talked about LaSalle last week on the pod, right when it had kicked off with Pierce winning. Davenport gets Spoon River. Devin Moran at Lincoln. Thornton at Ricky Thornton Jr. at Farmer City got by Shepherd late. And then a badass race on Saturday night. Davenport snaps a 10-year winless streak since he won the Rumley 6 when he went on that wild tear when he really got adopted the Superman moniker, at Fairbury. But man, Illinois Speed Weeks was phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
I got it wrote down. I don't think Illinois realizes how lucky they are if you're a late model fan. Just the amount of races and everything that they get up there, and it can really happen anywhere. That just happens to be the right now we're the heaviest hitting and everything's going on up there. And like you said, what a phenomenal feature. Really, Farmer City and Fairbury, man, like it had. I'm not going to say last lap passes, but it was a race for the win within the last 10 laps both nights. And what can you say? 49 might be back, man. He might be tired of hearing everybody talk about this 32 and 20 RT. For JD to go out there and win at Fairbury at a place that he will probably tell you that that's not his best forte, the 49 might be back, boys. You might be having a top 3 rolling out before too long.
That was also on I said I didn't have JD on my bingo card, at least being the repeat winner last week, right, between Spoon River and Fairbury. Am I surprised? Absolutely not. I mean, it's Superman, but like you said, I mean, he would be the first to tell you that smaller tracks haven't been his forte, in recent memory. So that win at Falls was, I think, a little bit more surprising to me than anything else. But you know what? We'll get to that here in just a second. But again, see, I'm making a mistake here. I'm live on my podcast. I got to thinking about something, and that's probably my ADD really getting to me here live and direct. But I wanted to say, if I were to rank Illinois Speed Weeks, I'm gonna get myself out of this hole. I'm gonna go Fairbury 1, LaSalle 2, Farmer City 3, Lincoln 4, and Spoon River 5. I feel like that would be the consensus. Like, but all the racing was good. Like, even when you've got Spoon River 5, that was still a really good race.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't change that list up one bit. I think you hit the nail on the head there. But at the end of the day, it's not like we're ranking them because any of them were bad, because really and truly all of them were very good. Like it was an exciting week to be a dirt late model fan. And thank you to the good Lord and everybody else who has made it to where we get to watch racing midweek like that and get to watch late models go for 5 straight nights at some pretty amazing racetracks.
the mistake that I made a moment ago, I got to think, I was like, man, I meant to go to you about anything additional you had on local racing, because when I wrapped up local racing, I didn't want to go back to race that, after we'd already started talking about dirt late models. But hey, what are some of the things you saw, maybe whether it be on RaceON this week? Obviously, I know you weren't able to attend all these racetracks. And what are some of the things that you saw, on RaceON maybe this week locally, that may have stood out to you? Cort's Corners right here on Clark After Dark.
Because Boot Hill rained out and I got to start clicking around and started watching everywhere. Hunt County Raceway, the factory stock feature there, man, between Chris Davis and Rowdy Day, jam up race. That was a rougher, quote unquote, I ain't gonna say it was rough, but a rougher hammer down Hunt County than what they normally expect. Had a late race caution. Rowdy Day looked like he had it wrapped up. Had a late race caution, I believe. And Chris Davis piles around the outside with 2 to go and takes the win. And those are 2 guys that are going to be quote unquote outsiders coming to spring nationals with one thing on their mind, and that's winning. Brent Broussard clicked over to 105 Speedway after that. Brent Broussard wins the limited modified feature at 105 Speedway. He got 2 wins this year, Zach, one in Texas and one in Mississippi. That's pretty cool. I don't know many people that's going to have 2 wins in limited modified division between Mississippi and Texas, but give a shout out to him. The second, about the third one here. I said second, third one. See, we all make mistakes. It's okay. Kennedale Speedway Park, give them some love, man. They've been racing a bunch. John Carney the second dominates that sprint car feature. The Mike Melton, I believe it was the Mike Melton Memorial. It paid $5,000 to win, and I thought it was really cool, man. Before he got done with his Victory Lane interview, he went off and or he got the announcer's attention back. He wanted to make known how special it was to win that race and how much Mike Melton meant to him and everything about it. And that's really cool, man, because in memorial races, whether they pay $500 or $50,000 to win to somebody or some family or the entire racing family, that race means the world to them. Another 100%. Thing at KSP, the iStock feature, dude, go back and watch it. The iStock feature was a banger. Oh, Matt,
they finished this week.
Yeah, they finished this week. Matt Gilliam. I know I'm completely mispronouncing it.
No,
Is that correct? Okay. Matt Gilliam. He went to infinity and beyond and said, "Catch me on the outside."
How about that,
boy? It's not Jalame. My boy railed the top. I think he passed like 12 cars to get the dub. Like, it was a really good race. Hopefully,
the Taco Casa car, right?
Taco Casa, yes, sir. Red and yellow neon, clean, baby. That mug was clean and fast. I can tell you that much. And then finally, on the last thing, I was just clicking through again. This old Cort's Corners. We may be able to start this as a weekly deal. The Stems Modified race at Cotton Bowl. My boy Chris Morris. If you don't know Chris Morris, Google him, search him. I know he's got a video out there about a bad man. He's got a video. I'm sure he's got a video out there about his story and everything, but he dominated that race at Cotton Bowl Speedway right around the bottom. That may be his forte. I don't get to watch him a whole lot, but he dominated a 24-car field with some really big names like Jared Maupin, Cameron Starry, and Stephen Whitaker Jr. Yeah. So that's Cort's Corners, man. I try to hit a couple different places that I got to watch this weekend.
That was awesome. I love everything about it, man. I love everything about everything that you just mentioned. And a couple of those I actually want to jump in and kind of add into. And I forgot the second one I think you talked about. No, it was good. No, it was really, really good. But yeah, I mean, when you can win over a modified field like that, but Chris Morris has done that before. Like, he's won a lot of races at Cotton Bowl too. But when you stomp down there in that neck of the woods, and Whitaker's there, and Starry's been really on his game too in recent memory. I mean, it's there's some really, really fast cars in that neck of the woods right now, and that's really getting up on the wheel and earning it, man. And that's awesome to see, man. He travels too. He's not scared of competition, but because we saw him race at Open, he came up and run USMTS at Arklatex a few years ago. So it's always interesting to see what discipline, or what sanction Chris Morris is going to race under. But typically he stays over to the IMCA modified ranks. Really good shit there, man. How about that DRT late model ride we talked about last week? Dylan Thornton was picked to drive the number 13 DRT chassis late model at this year's 100,000 win Dirt Late Model Dream. And you know what? That was one of the names on the list, and a lot of people were talking about, and they put out that video. No, they're not related. He and Ricky Thornton Jr., they're not related. But, man, hey, did you mention him by name last week on the podcast as one of them? I know that you mentioned a couple of the IMCA drivers, but he comes from the IMCA modified. He comes from the IMCA modified background, just like Ricky Thornton Jr. But again, they're not related. But what are your opinions on Dylan Thornton? Oh, Dilly.
I see you stuck it. Dilly dilly, babe. Dilly dilly. It's
Yeah,
exciting, man. Cody Summer, we put that video out where he was talking to him, Skyping, whatever, he had a video talk to him. And you could tell, man, like I think he's a pretty cool cat. And Cody Summers' whole idea of this thing was, give us somebody a chance that hasn't had that chance before. And what a really, when you look through that list, there's a couple other names and guys that you could argue and vouch for, but man, for what he's done lately and the speed he's shown, give the kid a
yeah.
chance, man. Dilly's probably going to go out there and put on a show.
Yeah, he's a three-time IMCA Super Nationals winner in three different divisions. I mean, he can get it done. He's stock car, modified, and IMCA late model. That I don't think that ever been done before in the long tenured history of the International Motor Competition Association. So international motor competition, yeah. So pretty impressive stuff. Pretty impressive stuff what he's been able to do, nonetheless. Man, listen, I watch the Rich Eisen show a lot, right? It's one of my favorite sports shows. There's a few people that I listen to daily that I will listen to for sports, and they don't come out with all the crazy hot takes and stuff, but they do have fun with their podcast. But Rich Eisen's one of them. I listen to Dan Patrick a lot, and I listen to John Middlecoff. They get right. John Middlecoff just gets right to the point, and my buddy, the GM Shuffle, Michael Lombardi was the same way, but he went to go work with he went to work with Uncle Bill over at UNC, so he's gone. So I don't listen to him anymore. So anyway, I watch a lot of these things, so I think about them and I think about implementing a way. So I'm not necessarily stealing an idea from them, but I am. But I'm putting a motorsports twist on it, right? So Rich Eisen has a segment called "What's More Likely," and I want to implement this each week because I think it's a good conversation piece and it's just a fun way to talk about racing in a different fashion. So I came up with some pretty wild ones, and a lot of his are like he has a lot of football ones throughout the football season. And he does these on Fridays with his producer Chris Brockman, and he comes up with some crazy stuff. Like one week it would be like Tyreek Hill has 200 receiving yards, or Alvin Kamara has 3 touchdowns. What's more likely? And he throws that to Rich, and Rich answers it, right? So I'm going to ask you the same things, and you're going to have one for me. We're going to do one of these each week. So this week, and I'm just doing it this week to tie in local racing with national racing. So mine is, what's more likely, Cortland Smith? What's more likely? Dalton Faulkner wins the 30,000 win Spring Nationals at Boot Hill in a couple of weeks, or Ricky Thornton Jr. wins his first annual 100,000 to win Dirt Lake Model Dream?
I'm going to have to give my
likely?
props to my boy. What's more likely? Dalton Faulkner wins the 30,000 at Boot Hill. I feel that way. Ricky Thornton Jr. is one of the best. He's arguably one of the best in dirt late model racing right now. It's just for some reason, like I know he has prelim wins at Eldora, just the 100 lappers there. I ain't gonna say aren't his forte because by golly, he'll prove me wrong here in a couple of weeks probably. But just his track record there isn't the best. And Dalton Faulkner, I mean, I feel like we've mentioned before, he's one of the heavy hitters. And if we're doing a more likely, I think Dalton Faulkner's will win the 30,000 at Boot Hill over Ricky Thornton Jr. winning the Dream.
That's pretty interesting. I think some people might, because I agree with you about Ricky at Eldora, right? I remember the very first trip he ever had there, right, in that J.R. Haley 33 car, and he really, wow, he had a really hell of a run. Everybody's like, holy smokes, right? Like, you could just see the talent on display that weekend where you knew he had something special. But, yeah, he's been fast at Eldora, but he's also been kind of snake bit as well, like, right? The Lucas Oil, the final race of the year, 2023, that bit him, right? Like, that's why he didn't win the Lucas Oil title. And so, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Dalton Faulkner, however, you could make the same exact argument for Dalton Faulkner to a degree at Boot Hill, right?
Yes.
The 10,000 win, the King of the Hill. He's been kind of snake bit in that race. And, Justin Whitehead would also tell you that he was snake bit in the King of the Hill for the longest time. For the first 4 or 5 races, like he'd been up front and led some, but he ended up breaking in the race, right? He led one of them up till lap 43. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could answer it. So, what's yours this week for me? I mean, what's more likely?
Tie in with Dylan Thornton, Zach. What's more likely? Dylan Thornton makes the show in the DRT ride at the Dirt Late Model Dream coming up in a few weeks, or Josh Daugherty runs top 3 at the Spring Nationals?
Oh, yeah. He makes the show?
Makes the show.
Or Josh Daugherty finishes
runs top
3. Oh, man, I think you got to take Josh. You have to take Josh Daugherty. You have to take Josh Daugherty easily. I think yours is too easy. Honestly, I didn't think too hard about it. No, I think yours is too easy. Josh Daugherty easily because Josh Daugherty, and this is what you do on what's more likely. You back it up with facts, right? Hey,
Yeah.
he finished top 5 in last year's King of the Hill. He finished top 5 in last year's Cajun Classic. He's been really good. He finished top 5 in this year's 10,000 win at Super B. Like, the dude has been on a roll when the big money's on the line. I got Josh Hill. He might win that thing, and they're going to burn the house down in Greenwood, Louisiana. The former track
There we
champion,
go.
there might be an earthquake in Greenwood if he won that race.
Might be an earthquake. I hear you. I guarantee the Daughtery band will be loud and proud.
Man, this race at Marshalltown has 9 laps to go. Man, this weekend we got Arklatex racing both Friday and Saturday night. The Billy Robinson Memorial is $1,500 to win. Both nights for open wheel modifieds, for USRA modifieds. But this weekend as well, they got the Comp Cam Super Dirt Series at the Rev in Monroe, Louisiana on Friday night, and at Texarkana 67 on Saturday night. What are your thoughts, maybe expectations, your predictions on those 2 tracks this weekend, the Rev and 67?
Really excited to get to the Rev, man. Of course, the first couple weeks when they tried to race with the rain and everything, they kind of got snake bit there with just the bad track surface, and it wasn't none of their doing. It's just bad weather, and they tried to race, and you give them credit for trying to race. But really excited to see that. I don't know for sure, but I know I'm sure there's several Mississippi guys, the Goat Farm Posse, and a couple other Mississippi natives will probably make the trip over there, considering it's right down the road on I-20. Some sources may say, I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the 97 roll in there, considering he's won a super late model race at the Rev. And then when you head to 67, man, that's an oddball place. They haven't really got to have a lot of super late model races there last year. And man, it really was a pretty good race last year at 67. I know Tim Crawley, we ain't got to worry about racing in the rubber. I can tell you that much. We ain't got to worry about racing in the rubber at 67.
Hell yeah.
Because my boy Tim, he'll have it ready, and hopefully he's got it dialed in. It was maybe a little bit too wet last year when we went there, but we only had one other class. And that's another big thing, man. I don't know how many classes are at 67. I know the Rev's only running like 2 other support classes that night. And I think it's Sportsters and B mods maybe, but not a whole lot of classes. So get out there Friday, Saturday night, go see, go out there and see. Oh, my bad. The producer talked to my ear, threw me off, man. Make mistakes happen. He scared me. I ain't gonna lie. I thought somebody was over my shoulder. I got to looking. Anyway,
that's all right.
But get out there, go support it, man. We got super late model races down here in the Dirty Boot and then South Arkansas, of course. So go out there and support them.
I'm excited for 67 to have a Saturday date. I hope the fans really show up and support it. I always have a cause for concern when there's, I won't say so many tracks, but when Arklatex is racing, I mean, it's not that far down the road. It's only, maybe an hour down the road. And I mean, I'm not just concerned for the track's car count. 67 doesn't have to worry about that, right? They're just running the Mod Lights Arkansas. They know they can bring a solid car count with them, as well as the Comp Cam's late model. So make no mistake, the best of the best in Mid-South Super Dirt late model racing will be in Monroe and Texarkana this weekend, as a lot of the local guys will be racing at Arklatex or, at different racetracks. But I think the fans kind of, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to decide. But, man, if you can, go and support those. It's hard to put on these big races. But at the same time, if you can support Arklatex as well, man, they need your support as well. And there'll be some great racing going on this weekend over in Vivian, Louisiana, as we've always come to expect over out of that joint. So, man, the final thing I wanted to talk about here was last night, dude, that high limit sprint car race was phenomenal. Yes. Was going to talk about this a little bit earlier, but man, what a showcase there. It may have not been the greatest race up front for the entirety of it, but Justin Peck looked like he was gone. But man, he just changed his lineup, got the evasive move in 3 and 4 on the bottom lap, and guess what, dude? Rico made him pay.
I love Kokomo Speedway. I race a little bit. It's my favorite track on iRacing. And man, any race at Kokomo, I swear, is a banger, or at least has some last lap shenanigans like that. And just like you said, Justin Peck led the entirety of it, I believe. And then I think he led from lap 1 on, but I know he led most of it up to the white flag lap, and he just went in there to try to block him. I guess he was worried about a slider. And it's cool. You don't see this much ground made up in late model racing. This is why sprint cars and late model guys are different. Sometimes late models, it takes a little bit longer to make a pass, where Rico just sailed it off in there. Like he just sent it.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but speaking of this and that and passes, Brandon Overton just forged his way by Bobby Pierce by any means necessary. And I think the caution may have came out and put the 32 back out front, but Brandon Overton just had that baby rolling on the top shelf of the racetrack. This has got to be fun, dude. 8 laps to go. Chris Simpson just brings out the Midwest sheet metal caution. Hey, buddy, I say we get out of here and go watch these last 8 laps of this Flow Racing Night in America race. What do you say?
Sounds good to me, bud. I think we covered a good bit of it. Hey,
man, I appreciate everything you do coming in this week, folks. I hope you enjoyed the podcast this week. I'm not sure there's a whole much more to get to. If you can, guys, please show up and support a racetrack this weekend. All you have to do is pull up My Race Pass, and it'll pull up every racetrack that is closest to your location on your device. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that, but it can. You can set up that option, and it'll actually, you can go and it'll tell you how far distance each racetrack is from where you are currently. So, hey, if you can, just go support a racetrack this weekend. Where if it's in the Architects, please do that. But if you go and travel and find one as well, it doesn't matter to me. But anyway, thank you guys so much for the support. We're growing here, Clark After Dark. Cortland, you're the man. Thank you so much for your side of the aisle and your expertise this week as well. Get your backside, trackside. Thank y'all for Clark After Dark. We'll see you next time. Be blessed and be a
Later,
blessing.
boys.